Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of NAU Sports Show. My name is Casey. I hope all of you are doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in, either live or on replay. It does mean a lot. Once again, thank you. I hope everyone is doing well. The spring football season is officially done for the Big Sky podcast. Big Sky podcast. Oh, geez, that's me. The Big Sky Conference. Unfortunately, both Eastern Washington and Weber State lost last week. So we will see what happens here soon. The fall is rapidly approaching. It is coming in 4 months. But really, there is only one person to talk about NAU football since we are on the NAU Sports Show. And that is the head coach, Chris Ball. And I have him right now. Coach, how are you?
Great, Casey. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for coming on. What's new?
Just and then wrapping up the semester. Just got done with our season, and then spend about a week to get to sit down and meet with each player on our football team, and get their mind right, making sure they got things in line academically and their plan for this month before we bring them back May 30th. So just been busy with a lot of meetings, a lot of personnel meetings. Tomorrow's I think I got 4 more left, so knock those out, and then we'll start working on some recruiting, getting back into recruiting mode, and then start working towards our next 2 opponents, our first 2 opponents of next year.
There you go. I can't wait. Like I said, it's only 4 months away. Normally you have this long break in between seasons, but this spring season is nothing but crazy with ups and downs and everywhere else. And now you have this short season, this short time to prepare for a long normal season. Tell me something. How different is that going to be? And do you think that will be a little bit more stress added on to getting ready?
I think we've got time to get ready. I think the most important thing is, our players making sure they get enough time off and enough rest before we get back at it in June. So I think that's probably more concerning than anything. We're pretty much, this being our 3rd year, we pretty much have a good idea on what we want to accomplish, what we want to do, scheme-wise and practice-wise. There are some changes coming down the pipe on how we can practice in camp and what we can do with pads or without pads. And so it's those are some things that we're going to have to change. But other than that, one thing, you don't have time to change a lot. You really need to sit down. That's what the coaches are doing right now, sitting down, looking at things that we did well and things that we need to continue to do and things that we need to fix. So getting a lot of work done there. And but as far as the organization and getting ready to play, it's a quick turnaround. But I think as a player, what a great opportunity. You don't have to do the winter conditioning stuff and all the other stuff that goes along with getting ready to play spring ball. So we've already had that. We've had a lot of situations. We've had all our installs in. So the most important thing right now is getting ready for this summer, and then we've got to have a great summer in the weight room.
Sounds good. The Lumberjacks finished this spring 3 wins, 2 losses. A couple of things that happened this spring. 1, NAU beat Southern Utah 2 times in a row. That has never happened that I'm aware of. 2, NAU won 2 consecutive games, something that hasn't happened since 2017. Overall, what are your thoughts on the spring season for NAU?
Well, I thought it was great. I love the way we finished. The Southern Utah game was big because we needed a road win. Hadn't run on the road since 2017. Yeah, 2017 or 18. And then we hadn't had back-to-back wins since 2017. There's some things that we accomplished. We have got a top 25 rating. We were one play away, we're 2 seconds play away from getting in the playoffs, and then we're one game that doesn't get canceled if we win it against Cal Poly from being in the playoffs. So I think we're heading right direction. I think everybody's excited. I know campus, there's a good buzz on campus, and the administration's excited. The players are very excited to get back and go to work, and coaches are confident on the guys that we got coming in are coming back. So it's winning solves a lot of things, and to win the last 2 games was big, really big for our program.
It really was, and it was very fun to watch it. I was really hoping that we would not have the NAU versus Idaho game like we did 2 years ago.
Wow.
And NAU really came out and played really well. So I'm very happy. Congratulations on a 3-2 record for the spring. Now, a couple of names that really came out the spring season and showed what they had. Keandre Wutty, Drayson Hall, George Robinson, Coleman Owen. For the offense, they have been able to run some numbers, pass. What are your thoughts on these players overall?
No, it's just to watch them develop, and Keandre Wutty hadn't played in a full game since like 2016. So for him to come in and play like he did, the drives that he had, taking care of the football, he only turned it over once all year. We were +6 in the turnover margin, which was one of the best in the country. He had a couple 95-yard drives. So he, really, really did some great things at the quarterback position, really managed the game well. Really, as far as a smart football player, one of the smartest players I've ever been around. So really pleased with him. Drayson Hall, he comes off from a mission from Spain. He'd been over there for 2 years and comes out here and has a great year rushing. George Robinson has been with us for a couple of years, learned how to run with his pads down and run physical. Did some really, really nice things. Coleman Owen, some of the catches that he made. Hendrix Johnson had another good year. There's some guys that you had mentioned that did some really good things, but there's also some guys you didn't mention that played above and beyond what we thought they were going to. So I thought the spring really helped us. We were a better football team this spring than we would have been in the fall because it gave us time to develop some of our young guys. And so to come out here and finish the way we did and have some of the performance we had really, really is exciting. Gets me excited about the fall.
I agree. There are some talking heads in the sports world that covered the FCS this spring. And some of them has said that they think the FCS should be spring only. Now, my honest opinion, I don't agree with it. I don't like it for many reasons. But you are right. Playing in the spring to get ready for a fall season definitely helped a lot. What are your thoughts of a potential FCS spring only? It's not going to happen, but what do you think about it?
Well, when all this went down, I thought, hey, we're FCS, we're going to play in the spring, so let's make it a big deal. Let's get to ESPN and get some national recognition for our league. It's great football. It's got following. Each school's got a big following. There's some history there. I think it would probably, if you look at it, there's probably more of a following with FCS football than there would be an XFL type league, just because of the history with the schools over the years. But it's, I thought, well, maybe that would be a good idea if FCS just played in the spring, got you some big TV contracts, and we became the spring league, and thought it might be a good idea. Sure, there'd be have to see things be adjusted for the NFL as far as combine and draft, but I mean those things could be worked out. But when this thing went down, some of us coaches talked about playing in the spring, and obviously it's not going to happen. Those matchups we have with FBS schools are big for a lot of us as far as financially. So I think that's probably the main reason we wouldn't do it. And also, we've been playing football in the fall forever, and why would we change that? So, but originally we thought it might be a pretty good idea.
Right, definitely. It'll be interesting. I can't wait for the fall just because, again, the shorter time of getting ready, the times we've already spent playing, we're going to be more ready. That's a real phrase. We're going to be more prepared than some of these FBS teams because the team in general has gelled together. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so in the middle of the season, someone who I didn't think would come back because he opted out, Brandon Porter, he decided to come and opt back in and play. Can you tell me what changed his mind?
Well, Casey, he didn't really opt out. He just needed some time to get some personal things together. So we just gave him that time. He didn't really want to opt out.
Okay.
He didn't want to be sad. And so we left it at that and let him go take some of the things. And he said he'd be back, and he did. And he came back strong. But yeah, we needed to give him some time. And it was part of it. COVID, you had to be patient. This thing was really hard on our athletes, hard on everybody, not just our athletes, people around the country, because you're isolated so much. These kids understand that we're able to go home. Once they got here in June, we weren't able to go home till January, and then or December, and then we came back and we came back early in January. We weren't able to go home until our season was over, and they couldn't have contact with their parents. And I mean, it was tough. It was tough on them and tough on everybody. And so there were some issues that you don't normally deal with on a normal year. So the sacrifices that were made and the commitment that was made from our kids makes this season even that much more enjoyable, because the sacrifices they've had to make to play this season, to play these 5 games, was getting tested 2-3 times a week, getting contact traced. One week you're starting, the next week you're not being able to play. You practice all week, and then on Friday they're pulling you off the bus because you got contact traced or your test came back negative. So you'd be holding your breath when you're getting ready to leave, just hoping that everybody passed and nobody was getting contact traced, and you were going to be able to get on that bus and go play some football. So it was mentally straining. It was very suspenseful there towards the end of the week on who we were going to have and who we weren't. And these players are sitting on pin cushions wondering, hey, are we going to be able to play or not? Waiting for that test to come back. So there are a lot of sacrifices are made by a lot of people to allow us to play, and these young kids have had to go through some mentally exhausting situations and protocol to get through this season. And that's probably what is probably more impressive than anything. We knew going into it there was going to be some bumps in the road, and we knew that we wanted to keep moving forward as a football program. Mike Marley did an unbelievable job with that, and our administration, and then providing us the resources to be able to do that. And we knew there were going to be some bumps in the road, and we just wanted to, hey, worry about the things we can control, and let's not make a big deal about the things we can't, and be there for our kids and support them, We played 2 games in 5 weeks. And so keeping them motivated and keeping them into it wasn't easy. But, it was a tribute to them, trusting the process, trusting each other, the coaches trusting the players trusting the coaches, the players trusting the players. I mean, it was all encompassing, and we pulled it off, without us having to cancel a game because of us. And again, winning out at the end shows the resilient, how resilient our kids are and how mentally tough that we've become here at NAU.
Definitely. When speaking of what you were saying, not taking something so serious that you can't control, and again with COVID, the week of the Cal Poly game, they called and said that we're opting out of the rest of the season. How did you and the guys take that, and how was that shared with the team?
No, it was devastating. It was devastating because we just lost to Eastern and got beat pretty good, and we needed to come out and play. One thing good about a normal season is if you got you don't have much time to sulk about it. You're back out getting ready for the next game the next day. And same thing with a win. You don't have much time to celebrate those wins either. So it's when that happened, that one hurt as much as anything. And we needed to get back out there and play. And that wasn't necessarily the case. And so we had to rally. I told the staff our players are going to handle it the same way we are. And so we tried. We handled it. Again, from our AD to me to the rest of the staff, let's keep moving forward. Let's not look back. Let's figure out ways we can continue to get better. And we did that. And luckily, our kids responded really, really well to it, and ended up coming off there and playing pretty well that next week.
Hey, so in 4 months, NAU starts a whole new season, and Sam Houston is coming to Flagstaff. Now you get a different perspective now because you get more training and more video to watch Sam Houston as they're in the playoffs. And this week they're taking on North Dakota State. So are you using this time to kind of learn how they do their moves and play their game?
Yeah, we do that. We do that anyway. We always break down the first 2 or 3 opponents, 2 for sure, in the summertime, just to keep the rust off. As far as breaking down and game planning. So next week we'll start working on Sam Houston. Spend about 3-4 days on them, and then we'll work on South Dakota also. So, but yeah, we'll have all their tape. We'll get all their tape, and we'll sit down and break them down, just like we're getting ready to play them. Put together a game plan and put it in a folder, and have some summer sessions on them, film sessions for the players, and then put up a game plan so they can make calls as they're watching tape, and then start getting ready for them. And then we'll pop that. After that, we'll spend a few days this summer working on South Dakota. So we'll spend some time on both our first 2 opponents this summer and by film watching. And but yeah, it helps us a little bit because you can watch. You can sit there and relax last week and this week and watch the game and take some notes, take some mental notes, and really find out what type of ball club they have.
We definitely can. I can't wait. With everyone that has played this spring, now here in a couple of months, NAU gets the number 2 ranked nationally recruiting class in. So how does that make you and the team feel, especially being able to get all those freshmen in who have unbelievable talent?
Well, it's great. Anytime you get recognition for anything you do in this profession is a plus because it gets so much attention nowadays. But it's funny because we got about 3 weeks left to go in recruiting, and our recruiting coordinator Brennan Ball comes to me and says, "Hey, Dad, we got a chance to have the best recruiting class in the country." And I said, "No," I was like, "No way." And he goes, "Yeah, oh yeah, we've really done a good job, and they got this class ranked really, really high." And so we finished it out, and Coach Prime there at Jackson State beat us on the last day on a kid they got turned from Georgia, and beat us out. But we don't go into it, and I think this is a very interesting topic nowadays. Is some people try to go every year and win that press conference, that recruiting press conference, and that's not necessarily the best thing to do. We were just trying to meet needs. That's all we were trying to do, and we were meeting our needs. And next thing you know, we've got a great class on paper, and we think it's a great class, and it was also good on paper. And so now we've got the second rated class in the country and getting a lot of attention for it. But we did a great job of evaluating. I thought our coaches did a phenomenal job of evaluating and taking the right guys. And when I mean that, we don't just recruit talent. We don't just turn on the tape and all of a sudden, all right, let's offer that guy just because he's a good football player on tape. There's 4 other factors that we really look at, and that's character, work ethic, smart, mentally tough, and talented. And we rank all these things. Well, in order to rank those other 4 things, you've got to spend a lot of time with that recruit. And so we spent a lot of time Zooming. We had a great a great plan with our Zoom plan. We recruiting coach got with him, and the offensive defense, whoever, if he was an offensive player, he met the whole, he met the offensive coordinator. And then the next Zoom, he met the whole offensive staff. And then the next Zoom, he got on with the head coach. Then the next Zoom, he got a facility tour. And then the next Zoom, he got to meet with Jessica Lopez, our academic coordinator. And the next Zoom, he got to meet with the AD. And it just kept going on and on. And that plan we had was not just for that recruit to get to know us, but for us to get to know that recruit. Because normally you got camps and showcases, home visits, and you're really getting to know them, but that was taken away from us. So those 4 qualities, character, smart, work ethic, mental toughness, those things all have to be done in person. Those things have to be done face to face. And the only way we could do those things, since it was dead, was through Zoom. And so I thought our guys and our recruiting department and our coaches did a phenomenal job of getting to know these young men. And man, there's some really good players in that class, really, really good players up front on both sides of the ball. In the secondary, really, really, really good players coming in, really good.
Definitely. I mean, it takes a lot for a team that has not been known to be in the top, to be able to a newer coach. You've been with NAU for 3 years now, to be able to transform the team to where it is now, and it's only going better. And am I right by saying 90% of the players it's all Arizona? I mean, it's huge. It's great.
Yeah, and that's what was so attracting about the job. You got a tremendous recruiting base here. We're an hour and a half from one of the 5th largest metropolitan areas in the country. So there's plenty of guys for us to recruit. In fact, there's there's more guys than we recruit. That's why it's important that we take the right ones. And so you go down the mountain and you're in this metro area with good high school football. These high school coaches do a phenomenal job coaching their kids. And there's a lot of them. So first and foremost priority is to recruit the state. We want to build a wall around this state. This is our state. All right. When it comes to FCS football players, if we want them, they're coming to NAU. All right. And so we get out. We have where we get out on the road, and one spring we hit 150 schools in one day. Okay, divided the coaches up, we hit 150 schools in the state of Arizona one day. So it's priority. We go to schools that don't even have players, because someday they will, and develop those relationships. So we feel that one of the best things about this job was the recruiting base, and that was anytime you take a job, where are you going to get your players from? Where are you going to get them from? Well, you know what? We're going to get them from the state of Arizona. We're going to build us a dang Arizona All-Star team, and we're going to go out and compete nationally with it. Now, with that, we also have needs, and sometimes it depends on what year, but year in and year out, sometimes it might not be good in the state of Arizona for defensive linemen or wide receivers. So we've got Southern California with anywhere between a 5 to 7 hour drive from here. And in Southern California, you got 28 million people. Well, we should be able to find some good players if we're doing the working right. We should be able to find some good players there too. And then once you get the name out, once you get the brand out, and once they see that you're recruiting at a high level, well, then it opens up really the West Coast. From the mountains, from the Rocky Mountains to the coast. You're getting interest from all kinds of players. So. But our home base, where we're going to make a living, is in the state of Arizona, and we believe that we can compete at a national level with the kids here in the state, and that's something that we're always going to do here, always.
And something else that is being added onto the NAU campus is the new athletic building. How is that coming along?
Great. Coming around great. It's on track. They've got a lot of the money raised to continue to move forward with it. It's never been delayed. They never talked about moving the finish date up or back. It's right on time. We'll move in there next January. It'll actually be done in December. We'll move in there in January. But it's a $50 million facility, state-of-the-art weight room, training room, academic center, Hall of Fame. It's got an altitude room in there, so we can adjust the altitude. Playing at 7,000 feet. There's some things you got to do to help guys keep weight up, injury-wise, for rehab. It'll help us, but it's the second largest next to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. We went around the country, looked at a lot of the different facilities. We went to Wyoming, where that was the last one this group had built, and I was getting on the plane to come back, and they called our AD and just said, "Hey, tell Coach that ask Coach if he liked the Wyoming facility. And Wyoming's got great facilities." And they said, "Your facility is going to be Wyoming's on steroids." So it's nice. It's going to be a first-class facility for our athletes, not just football, but our athletes. And it's something that's really, really going to help us down the road, not just as for developing our football players, but also academically and for recruiting purposes. And but it's state-of-the-art, and it's right on track, and it's going to be very, very beneficial to us.
Can't wait. The pictures look great, but pictures can't say everything. Coach, like always, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a huge pleasure to have you. Before I let you go, is there anything that you would like to say?
No, I just would like to thank our fans for supporting us this year. We're going to get this thing open back up next fall. It's a one heck of a home field advantage to play here. I picture this thing as being packed for the Sam Houston game and getting some normalcy as far as coming to games and cheering the Jacks on. But I just want to thank everybody that, not just our fans, but the people that work to help to allow our kids to play in this pandemic. People have no idea how many people and the work it took to get us to this spot and to get our 5 games in. And I just want to thank everybody. It's overwhelming. It's emotional to look back. I look back on that first game. It was emotional, and to know the work that went in to allow our kids to have some normalcy and continue to play. And I just want to thank all the people out there that did that. And we're getting this thing headed in the right direction. We're going to represent NAU and our community in a first-class way. And we're going to put a great product out there to make everybody proud. But I just wanted to thank everybody for that.
Well, thank you. All righty. Stay on, and I'll bring you right back as soon as I'm done, okay?
Okay.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for spending some time with me, listening to me and Head Coach Ball. 4 months isn't a very long time, but it's less time that we will have to spend missing our beloved NAU football team. I hope all of you have a fantastic rest of your night and week. In the coming month and a half, I'm going to have the head coaches of basketball, volleyball, and the national champions track and field on. And we'll be going over their seasons and what's upcoming for them. And again, big recruiting news for all of them. All righty. Have a great night. And until then, always root NAU. Bye-bye.